Hello. Welcome, everybody, to this week's mic check. I know that was really weird. Let me start that over again. Hello and welcome, everyone, to this week's mic check. We are getting back into character reads. We've been kind of on a spat of that for a little while, which, I don't know, I find fun. And we are currently doing one that was submitted by one of the members on our Discord. So if you are on the Discord and you have a script that you'd like us to give a look at and give a try at one point, then please do. But without any further ado, we're doing a partner character read, so we're going to start off with Frankie and Marcus. Whenever you two are ready, go for it.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir? My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? A billion lives.
You only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension. Then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? I mean, surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents—
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There's no room for pity and no room for remorse. Only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord. I'll see myself out.
I don't know how picking the next people work for partner reads.
Okay, Frankie, go ahead and choose the next first officer.
Justin.
All right. And Marcus, go ahead and choose the next admiral.
Leonard.
All right, whenever you two are ready, go for it. Justin, are you there? Justin? Okay, I guess Justin needs a little bit more time, or might be having some technical difficulties. Frankie, why don't you go ahead and choose a different first officer?
Tommy.
All right.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? A billion lives.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You'd speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There's no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down upon what I have wrought here, that were I to think about what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Foam, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes. Yes, my lord.
Alrighty then. Tommy, who is going to be our next first officer?
Is Justin still there?
Hey, I'm back.
Okay, yes,
All right.
Justin is back.
Go for
And
it,
Leonard,
Justin.
who's going to be the next admiral?
James.
James. All right. Whenever you two are ready, go ahead and do your cold read.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. Oh, my lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1,000,000,000 lives.
If you only knew the treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most of any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them? Surely, among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocent lives?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I now know, as I look down at what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, yes, my lord.
Alrighty then, Justin, who is our next first officer? First officer. First officer. I can English.
Let's go with Mateo.
All right, Matteo is the next first officer. And James, who is the next admiral?
You go for it, Michael.
Okay, I'll be the next admiral.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm the officer, right?
You are the first officer.
Okay. My Lord Admiral. Let me drink, please. My Lord Admiral. Fuck me. My Lord Admiral. Permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1,000,000,000 lives?
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken, his will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for there is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agarheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors, who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, yes, my lord.
All right. Mateo, who is our next first officer?
I am not completely sure who is missing because I joined
Roddy
later.
and Sam.
Sam!
Okay, Sam is our first officer, and that makes you, Roddy, our next admiral. Whenever you guys are ready, go for it.
Okay. Are you ready, Roddy? Okay.
Yeah.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1 billion lives.
If only you knew the full treachery of the Agnorites. First officer, bleh. If only you knew the full treachery of the Agnorites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents are—
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I've done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agnerim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Alrighty then. So, Dave is going to just be listening in today, so we're not going to go ahead and call on him. But let's go ahead and talk about this. So, what kind of microphone technique should we be using? Voiceover or voice under?
Under. Just kidding. Over. It's over.
Fucking
No,
Marcus.
nope, Mateo, you are not allowed to answer this question anymore.
I'm just
you
saying,
are not allowed
I'm
to
just
answer
saying,
this question
Marcus preceded
anymore.
me.
I actually have a different answer. We could use voice across.
A voice. It's
Voice-
through. This is
voice
voice
in
through.
Yeah, voice in between.
Okay. Yes, for those of you who were actually taking it seriously, over. I like what Sam wrote. Over. Over. Yes, this is a voice over script. Reason being is we're the central characters. The focus is entirely on what we're doing. We're not trying to indicate anything that's happening in front of us. This is not like a car commercial or anything like that. So our microphone technique should be up front, present in the scene, and speaking to one person specifically. So, let's go ahead and talk about this. I have the notes here listed out with the scene kind of at the bottom, but let's talk about the scene first. This is where I want to begin because I think it's really important to construct what's happening around the character to make what they say make more sense and how they say it make more sense. So, what can we tell about this scene right here? What can we tell about what's going on?
Dealing with morality issues, whether a decision is right or not, and they are taking one that seems extreme but necessary.
This is I don't, well, I know why, but I'm not going to reference it. But this is just reminding me of just the image of the two of them in like the king's chambers or something,
Okay.
overlooking the spreading destruction and trying to come to terms that many lives were winked out by a single decision. And honestly, actually, I wasn't going to make the reference that I was going to make it first. Instead, it's vaguely reminiscent of Oppenheimer. Not the movie, like the actual person seeing the test of a nuclear
I
weapon.
am become death, destroyer of worlds.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say that it looked like an exterminatus from 40K, but
Yeah, well, I mean,
everyone-
it's very much so that, whatever you want to link it to. This is a scene of great destruction is what we're seeing right now, right? Can we just like, is there a better term for me to use? But I think just watching immense destruction happen is kind of the general idea.
Yeah.
Is Mike okay?
I'm still here. Look, I'm
Okay.
doing like
Oh,
I'm doing like two things at once here.
I thought for a
I
second
don't
you fucking
multitask
froze.
very well. No. Okay, I'm writing. There's currently writing happening, and it is not showing up on any of these screens. It's over on Twitch. So if you'd like to see the writing, you need to tune into the Twitch. But let's go ahead and talk. Let's go ahead and continue that. So immense destruction. Let's talk about locations. So we said like in some kind of command room or something like that. Was that right?
Yeah, it even says explicitly in the actual script, unable to take their eyes off Rumos, the nation's vast capital city, as it vaporized into a cloud of superheated gases 12 miles across and growing ever wider. So the fact that they're able to see like a cloud 12 miles across from end to end shows that they're a good distance away from the destruction. So they're in no immediate danger.
Okay. Would you say that the general vibe of the area seems like it would be loud or quiet?
The location of the
Where these two
situation?
characters are. The reason being is that you have to take things like this into account if you want to sound realistic. Because imagine if these two characters are talking in like a bustling command center with a bunch of people talking. They might have to get a little closer together, or speak a little bit louder, or do something different to be heard over stuff like that. It would change the way that you approach speaking with someone. Whereas if this was like a quiet room with like nothing else going on, and it's just these two people, that would also have its own unique approach to the script. It would inform the way that your characters interact with one another. Because maybe these two, what if these two are on horseback? I don't know. Like,
Mhm.
horses are loud. Have you ever ridden on a horse before or been around horses
Yeah.
before? When they're full gallop, they can be loud. So you would have to yell at each other that way. What I'm asking is what context, what can we tell about what's going on and about the scene itself that gives us sort of a general vibe of what's happening around us? Because we need to approach this realistically. As character actors, your job is to bring the scene to life. And if you don't have an idea of what the scene around you looks like, then you are really ill equipped to bring the scene to life.
Remember, Mike, we actors don't need context, right?
Oh, good.
uh, but actually, the what strikes me a little odd about this scene, at least in my head,
Mhm.
is that about the is it quiet? Is it noisy? Um, because this is a kind of conversation, and also because we are referring, like, we are like a first officer and a admiral. um it gave me the idea that this will be best set in like a control room with like the classic like Pentagon, whatever, with maybe like an holographic of the explosion going off and everything. um and they are discussing, because what they are doing is a very meditative um activity. I don't know, it's something that, like, when you meditate, when you are thinking, you're never quite loud. I always think of these scenes as in a quiet place where two people are talking. um but here we see that they are talking about, like, they are overseeing the cloud as it expands in the distance. They are not in immediate danger, but at the same time, if they are officer and admiral, I'd imagine that maybe there are orders going off left and right around them, and that could maybe be a reason to why we could make it louder. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I
truly, there isn't a whole lot of information on this, and you're exactly right. Um, there is some scene notes in between everything, so I'm going to make a call on this just because I think it would serve the scene better, and it seems like that's what they were going for. Though, again, I do not have any specific information leading me towards this from the script that we have here, but I'm going to say that this is going to be a quiet and intimate setting. Though, yes, there might be some other things going on, we're entirely focused on just the communication between these two characters and just what's happening with them. Yes,
I would
Marcus.
agree. Yep. Go ahead, Marcus.
I was actually going to go on to that, like expand on that a little bit. That to me, at least, this scene is this is a command room. They're testing a new weapon on something that they visualize as a colossal enough threat to risk taking that many lives. And the silence, despite there being other people in the room, is the weight of what they've just done. And the first officer being green enough to actually want to verbally question it instead of continuing to add to his own weight of living.
Yeah, I see it. It has to be pretty much just these two people, because there's no way these people would talk to each other in this manner if there was anyone else listening.
Or maybe I can imagine, maybe like a few. It reminds me of the scene with, I have no idea what like the film was, but the famous scene with Hitler and the guys in the room and all the people outside of the room, and he's like talking to his officers. He's not quiet at all, obviously, but it reminds me, like, at least there are a couple of people. It's not just like only him and one only person.
Yeah, I know the scene in the movie that you're
Yeah,
talking
Downfall.
about. But what was it?
Downfall.
Downfall. Okay. Yeah, I remember that scene. But I don't think that this requires that kind of emotional space.
Yeah,
But
no.
it's a good example of it.
Yeah.
Last couple things that I want to talk to, that I want to discuss about the scene. What is the general atmosphere you get based on what it is that these people are talking about? Like, what are you feeling from them? What is the general sense in the room that you're in?
As the title may suggest, maybe regret.
Hey, you know what? There is information everywhere, even in the most obvious parts. Yes, deep regret.
Or
The
more
fir-
specifically, horrible regret.
I
Yes.
think we could actually say that horror is a slightly different thing, and we could add that in there separately.
For the first officer, I'm seeing disbelief. Like, he has been
Yeah.
serving with his admiral for a long time, and he had no idea that he was capable of genocide.
Yeah.
And almost casual genocide in a way.
Yeah, like he's done this before.
Well, he
Yeah.
probably hasn't, actually.
I just thought of something.
But not
Okay.
questioning the not questioning the order, right? Like just casually going through with it, pushing the button.
Right. Oh, that's weird.
I have a general question about this script.
Hmm.
It starts with, this is a excerpt from a sensory stone the player character can interact with. Does that mean in the point of view you're actually is this scene playing out in the point of view of the player, or like
Actually, yeah.
or is the point of view like you're actually in there in the scene with the other character? Because if this is like someone's vision of watching this happening, I'm just wondering how that plays into how we should approach it.
I completely forgot about that, but you know what? Have any of you played Witcher 3?
Yes.
Yep.
Do you remember when Geralt is I mean, he's looking for Ciri the entire game, but the particular scene where he finds the symbols and by touching them there are like leftovers, like left messages from Ciri and the elf guy. And when he touches them, they have like the playback of the memory, basically. And it's basically holograms, but it's to answer Justin. That's the way I think. Like I would see it, as in we are talking about a gem here, a sensory stone. The player character can interact with.
Well, it's not clear. Again, we're treating this as an audition. We're just getting some information, but we know that whoever it is that's actually listening to the scene is intimately related to the scene. They are either one of these characters or they're closely or quietly observing the scene. So
yeah, I don't see the sensory stone thing mattering in the slightest, because neither the admiral nor the first officer have any idea that they're talking through a sensory stone, as it were. They're just talking to each other.
Yeah, that's true. It was just a more of a extra informations for the scene, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think I think we had a decent grasp though on kind of the main setting and the feel that should be between these two characters. Now that we have the overall idea of what's happening around them, let's actually talk about these characters. So let's start with the first officer, since they're the first to speak. What can we tell about them? What are things like? Let's come up with let's come up with short descriptions of the various different character aspects that we can get from their interaction with with the other person in the scene.
Green, 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 green. This is
Green?
such a new soldier that he doesn't know that he needs to keep this stuff down and is allowing the weight of the war to affect how he's reacting. This would be like his first big, or their first big. The first officer's like first combat experience, like actually having to do something on this scale.
On the other hand, the
Oh.
Admiral does refer to this guy as an apparently old friend that he can open up to.
I was gonna
He
say
says
that
friend.
that kind of counters him having a. It might counter him having a previous relationship with the Admiral. So I don't really know about like green.
I would counter that with the idea of them knowing each other before war broke out, and the Admiral already being involved in the military, maybe at a lower rank or something. Then as time goes on, a draft gets implemented, and they both, while being age peers, may be completely differently ranked.
I can see where you're going with that. The thing that comes up to me that would suggest against that is both of these characters play their role in talking about this serious regret. And there needs to be an understanding of the Admiral's previous like behavior in these kinds of in these kinds of situations by the first officer in order to have that reaction. They need to know them and the way that they operate and act to really be able to question this and sell the regret that's supposed to be inherent in this scene. So I wouldn't say I would hesitate to go with like a very new officer on this, because I think it contradicts too much with knowing who the Admiral is. Although we do get that look into it, the first officer is a longtime friend. So they know this other person. There's more than just a professional connection there. There is a relationship that was built over time. Anything else?
That's an interesting
where
take.
where you are getting the fact that they are all all the friends and such is just from the Admiral, my friend, or is it stated elsewhere?
I think it's mostly that, and
Okay.
the after the my friend part taking a bit more of a familiar tone, while still trying to adhere to duty, as it sounds so adhere to their duty towards the end of the bid into the piece, the copy. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Twitch we have somebody say, think Adama and his first officer may be from Battlestar Galactica, if anybody's familiar with that.
I'm not that old.
You know, they remade Battlestar Galactica, right?
I don't know.
He's not that old either.
Updated show.
I'm not that old either.
And I watched it when I was a kid, but I don't
Jesus!
remember all that much about it.
No way I could. I only know the name.
So I think something that we can really draw from when it comes to this person's character, at least you know who they are in their relationship to the Admiral, is just what happens here in this scene, because they're kind of awestruck, right? They're taken aback by what's going on. They are shocked at what they've seen and at what they've experienced, right? Like this is somebody who has a conscience and who really feels for what's going on around them. I can see why questioning this particular thing would be, or I can see, Marcus, why you came up with the green or new officer thing on this, because yeah, you're more likely to hear that from somebody, but somebody with less experience in the military is probably not going to make it as a first officer. from what I understand, a first officer is pretty high up there, and for most, at least most fantasy and most other places, it's usually used as a term of, or as a position of importance. Unless I'm mistaken, in which case, please correct me.
No, it's like Riker and Picard.
There you go.
Ooh.
Only Picard wouldn't blow up a world like that.
I mean, have you pushed Picard that far? Have you seen him go that far?
But the first officer, and his reaction is almost like he is Riker, and then suddenly Picard did blow up a world like that, and it just, his entire conception of reality and his basis for his career, his relationship, everything is just crumbling before his eyes, and he doesn't know what's real anymore.
Okay. Would you say that then bewilderment is something that this person's feeling?
Yes.
Okay.
Incredulity was the first word that would come to mind. And shock.
Something that I want to add is that because they are friends, like at first read, I thought that the first officer was classically hesitant in questioning the admiral because of lower rank and reverential kind of attitude towards him, fear of questioning him. But that can definitely play a part. But because they are friends, I think that the officers actually, beyond the fact that he's talking to his admiral, but he's supposed to respect him and no matter what. But beyond the grade, the military grade or rank, he actually trusts the admiral, and he probably is beyond being awestruck by the fact that they erased an entire civilization, also by the fact that he's awestruck by the fact that the admiral would actually go that far, because as he knew him, he would take him as the person that would commit such a act of cruelty. No, no. I think that it's a way to play into their relationship that goes beyond the mere reverential attitude towards a higher rank in the military.
Okay. Well, we've definitely got a lot of information about this particular character, and I like that we have a decent grasp of at least the kinds of interaction that they should be having emotionally with the Admiral. Let's start talking about the Admiral. Who are they? What can we tell about them? What are some brief descriptions of this character we can note down to inform our choices? So one of the ones that was brought up on Twitch was that the Admiral is actually just really deeply conflicted because they're balancing their professionalism with what they've done. So what else can we tell about the Admiral, or the Admiral?
He's in
The
denial.
Admiral. From this, I needed to read it. I tried. Going off
I've
script.
been struggling too, as you can tell. Yeah. Admiral.
Yeah, that's great that we're paired up for the reads as well. So.
He's in a state of great denial. Doesn't want to accept the reality of what just happened.
That's
The
not
Admiral, I
nice.
would definitely think they're in a state of great denial, but that state is starting to crack.
Like the river. Denial.
Thank you, Matteo. But
I think the
I'm
Admiral has
not
a
sorry.
yeah, the Admiral has a choice of either going ahead and committing this genocide, or his own life gets ruined, his own career gets destroyed, and that's a tough choice to make.
So would you say that they're maybe like selfish or self-preserving? To some extent?
To an extent. But I mean, if you have to follow a despicable order or be completely destroyed yourself, I mean, I don't know that I would call it selfish to choose not to be completely destroyed yourself. because that's an awfully big sacrifice to ask for anyone to basically throw away their own life, as it were.
Right, but the thing
and their
is
reputation, which
he
is probably
already.
important.
I mean, we're dealing with the aftermath of it, so he already made
Yeah.
the choice.
Yes.
Something that came to mind is that the Admiral is definitely more involved in the entire scene, and like the first officer is not a bystander by any means, but the fact that the admiral seems to have a first-hand experience with the Agarites. As he says, if you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites. Meanwhile, the first officer doesn't. And maybe that is because he fought them personally, like face to face. Or maybe because he took orders directly from the king, who on his turn is way more involved with the entire political scene with the Agarites and everything.
Okay, so the Admiral's personally invested.
Yeah, but
Okay.
definitely way more than the first officer, who is getting informed by the Admiral. Yeah,
I see the Admiral as kind of just passing the buck and saying this decision to wipe out a whole civilization is beyond his pay grade. It's really the king who's doing it, and the Admiral is just following orders.
Right, but you can tell from the script itself and from the title that this is supposed to be a very introspective moment for the Admiral. I don't think that he's flippantly passing the buck off. I think what he's trying to do is let the first officer know in as professional way as possible how deeply he's hurting or how deeply they're hurting. Just the kinds of deep internal pain that they feel from this, well, horrible regret.
Yeah, the way I see that is he has a strong sense of duty, as one would to make it to Admiral, I think. And because they say, he has a plate covering basically half of a face that's now missing, that maybe, it was from a previous battle with, this enemy, whoever they are.
Yeah.
So I think at first maybe he's justifying it, and then afterwards, that kind of the scene setting before his last line, or their last line, is, they stand there watching it for a great while and almost like, holy crap, what have we actually done? And then it really starts to set in that, that sense of duty is now gone, and he's left as just a person, not an admiral anymore. And that's, I think, where the regret really sets in for him.
Okay, so it's almost like a personal journey of like self-realization kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the way it looks to me.
Okay. Well, I think we've got a good idea of everything that's going out or that's happening now around the scene and around these characters. Does anybody have any other things that they'd like to bring up or ask about, whether it be about the scene, any of the characters, particulars about the script, anything like that?
I just wanted to say, because the script is quite long, when it comes to feedback, we probably don't want to go too granular with stuff. Am I right, Mike?
We'll see.
Okay.
Well, I mean, technically, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 5 performances.
Well, 10. You flip them too.
We only have 10 performances, so.
Only 10 performances.
Well, that being said, then let's go ahead and dive into it so that we can get through them as much as possible. So, starting again up at the top with Frankie and Marcus.
All right.
Is Frankie, is your laptop okay?
It's heating up a little right now. I think it'll make it through this stretch, but then I'd have to log off immediately afterward.
Okay. Okay.
Slightly.
We'll yeah.
Slightly on fire.
All right. So whenever you two are ready, go for it.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay, my direct monitoring is off, so I can't hear me. So, all right.
My Lord Admiral? Permission to speak freely, sir? My lord. Forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? Of
If
their
you
own
only
lives.
if you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands. How many innocents have to get hurt
Silence!
and—
Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken, his will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There's no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I've looked down on what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, opening it up. What did you all think? Anybody? Quickly, while we still have Frankie?
For Frankie, I would like to hear more deference. Your tone came almost accusatory, and that doesn't seem quite what you'd have from an underling questioning a superior officer.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus, so with the last two sets of lines, the silence, speak of it no more, and then Falm, my friend, um, the emotional space between those two were way too similar. There needs to be a break there. You did slow down and kind of soften it on the last half, on the very, very end. Or should I say the last of your lines there, the one that starts with "Falm, my friend." But I think you're a bit too calm with silence. I think it needs to be more of like a firm correction rather than just a "this is what we're doing now." You know, like be a little bit angry there, because I think that could add more to this emotional journey of regret that you're trying to show with this character. The softening needs you to be a lot harder and a lot more strict before it really has the impact that it needs. So that's what I'd like to hear is you know what you have done and it deeply bothers you, but you have this core of anger around you, this this need to lash out about it, that you unintentionally take out on the first officer. All right. Anyone else? Cool. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and give it another take.
All right. Wait, is my mic on? Hang on.
Your mic is on. We can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay. All right. My lord, Admiral. Permission to speak freely? Oh, okay. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right A billion lives are out on the line.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Farm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands of people, how many innocents have to be
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken, his will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There's no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Well, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Foam, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children. Only people. No people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, Frankie, is your laptop still going to survive?
What happened to the sound?
Uh-oh.
Testing.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. We coming through okay?
Yeah, now it's coming through okay.
Okay. Well, that's a good note for us to work quick here. Okay. Frankie, I don't think your first officer should be so like my lord should be so like cautious and calm. I think they should just be at disbelief. There needs to be a strong sense of disbelief here that did this really just happen? My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely. You know, like, did I really just witness the entire death of a planet? Because right now, what you're treating him as, you're treating the admiral as, is just this sort of untouchable, um, figurehead. When in reality, the scene calls for both of you to at least start off in some form of disbelief. And I think the first officer needs to really display that. They're not sitting. I mean, they're still sitting on the formality of their station, but they shouldn't be so timid and tentative to talk because they just witnessed some true horror.
All right.
Anybody else?
Captain Picard just changed into Darth Vader before your eyes. How do you react?
My fandoms are aching behind
The for Marcus on the vile, cunning traitors, I would like to hear a real drop of hatred and venom there on that line. Because you can't live with yourself unless you convince yourself that these people all deserve what they just got.
Okay.
All right, Frankie, do you think your laptop has one more read in it?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear that. I want again disbelief and trying to come to terms with what just happened. That's your main goal here. That's what you need to communicate.
All right. My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir? My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? A billion lives.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But sir, traitors, all of them? I mean, surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocent...
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken, his will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There's no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Home, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look at what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
All right, opening it up. What did y'all think?
I'm happy. Good job.
Wow, you guys got the Leonard seal of approval. We need like something special to get that. Like there needs to, we need to have like a graphic or something we put up there. Leonard seal of approval. Just have Leonard's face going.
Oh, we have to capture him making that face in the first place. Yeah.
Oh, but seriously, any feedback? Anything?
Shoot.
Not gonna lie, it was on for First Officer right before the silence. How to describe this? When she brought up the traitors and the amount of people that were killed, it felt like a bargaining tone. That sounds weird, a bargaining tone, but like it was hard to feel the bit of tension that I thought would be there from what happened.
So you're talking about from like, my lord, forgive me, but how? Or
The next line after that.
but sir, traitors, all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that if I'm understanding correctly, it didn't have like a sense of disbelief. It was more of just like a sense of bargaining, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody agree, disagree, anything?
Yeah, I agree with that. The but sir seemed a little quick. It wasn't so much the disbelief. It felt like it came out a little bit too quick. And same thing with the my lord, forgive me, but how? It still had that bit of the accusatory tone, not so much disbelief.
Okay. I don't disagree with that at all. Anybody else? Anything else? No? Okay. Frankie, I don't want to cause you any issues with your laptop, and I know heat's an issue. Are you still good to keep going, or do you need to drop out?
I need to drop out.
Okay,
This just
no
went
problem.
sour.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for joining, Frankie. Take it
Thank
easy.
you.
Thank you for
Have a good
reading with
day.
me.
I know that feeling, unfortunately. But now we need to shift things around a little bit because Marcus needs to play first officer. So we need to have somebody play the admiral. Would somebody like to volunteer to do that? And maybe we'll, mix things up a little bit.
I'll be
I'd be
Admiral.
happy. Okay, go ahead,
Justin spoke up first. All right. So Marcus and Justin. Marcus, you will be first officer this time. Justin, you'll be the admiral. Whenever you guys are ready, go for it.
My Lord Admiral. Mission to speak freely, sir. My Lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? A billion lives.
You only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension. Then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them. Surely among the hundreds of thousands. How many
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse. Only duty. My friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors, who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, opening up feedback. What did y'all think? Got it. Okay.
I actually
Um,
have a question.
mhm,
Given that the first officer only has a couple of lines,
mhm.
can I give feedback for the person playing the admiral, or is
Yeah,
that because I'm technically
yeah.
performing?
You can give each other feedback within your scenes of each other's performances, but you cannot critique yourself.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't like some
No, no.
sideways rule violation. Okay. Um it's Justin, this is going to sound kind of weird. Have you ever had to like trap a pest or like do something that is so wildly out of your character that you didn't want to do or didn't like to do, and that it kind of haunts you afterwards? Justin?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Because the reason I ask is because without like trying to go too far into explaining anything about what I did when I was playing that part, I used to work in pest control, and I have had to dispatch things before. And the first time I did it, I ended up crying in my truck for half an hour because I'm actually kind of a nice person, or try to be. And so like calling in that kind of regret, doing something that is so far out of my character, I feel like helped me get more into that mindset. Because, and this might sound a little bit harsh, I didn't get much from it. It sounded more like reading than emoting. You know, you in this scene, you are somebody who pushed the button that killed millions of lives, millions of dreams, millions of lovers, millions of living,
Traitors.
breathing,
Mm.
living, breathing people that you're trying to convince yourself are just traitors and worthy of death. But I don't know if that helps inform how you deliver it at all. But that's kind of where I went to try to get some kind of emotion into how I was reading it. And that's what I got. I don't know. Anybody else?
No, I agree with that. I think that this was, Justin, you chose emotions within the moment that didn't really serve the overall scene. What I mean by that is that you started like glorifying when you started getting that sort of very expressive emotion going when the brunt of our most holy king's wrath, you started raising that up, but in reality your character is trying to justify the horrors that they've just committed. They're not going to be feeling this great glory in what their king has asked them to do. They're going to be feeling really, really horrible about the whole situation. And again, your character is tacitly explaining that this is actually incredibly painful for them, and this is how they have to view it if they want to live with themselves when this mission is all over and they want to go back to normal life. It has to be this way. It can't be any other way. Otherwise, I am ruined. Otherwise, me as a human being, I am destroyed. I didn't get that at all from your performance. You need to, what you're really doing with that section there, when you say, "Falm, my friend, I would have you understand," is you're bearing your soul about the actual regret that you're feeling. You're admitting it without directly admitting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it needs to be pained. It needs to be this really, really gut-wrenching feel that you have to express during that portion. Now, in the interest of time, I'd like you to read just that last section. If you need to lead yourself into it, that's perfectly fine. But I need to hear that sense of inner turmoil, that sense of horror about the situation that you're actually feeling.
That last paragraph.
That's right. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Mm. My friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have brought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Arkerheim, no mothers, no children, no people, only traitors, vile, cunning traitors, who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Okay. What did y'all think of that one?
There was more there in this read than the last one. I will give you that.
I think the intensity could be dialed up several notches still. I don't want to focus too much on Justin because his main read is coming up here still. So this is more about Marcus for me at this point. And all I can say is that I really love your read.
Okay, well then, yes, we'll save further critiques for later. We'll call this one a practice, Justin.
Huh.
All right,
Okay.
moving right along. Next up is Tommy and Leonard. Tommy, you are the first officer, and Leonard, you're the admiral. Whenever you two are ready, go for it.
Sounds good. My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1 billion lives.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely, among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocent lives?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken, his will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There's no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think about what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Foam, it must be that there are no innocents in Agarheim. No mothers, no children, no people, only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, feedback time. What did you all think?
Felt like they were able to bounce off each other pretty well.
Okay, so generally positive.
On the first officer, it seemed like there was a lot of stammering, like he was a really a timid person, and I don't know as if that would fit a first officer. So it just sounded like he didn't have the confidence of somebody who deserved to be in the same room as the admiral. And then I think it was on the first line of the admiral character. It just seemed it was a little too quick, I think. Like the spaces in between the sentences, I think were okay, but some of it came out a little too fast, I think. Like he already knew what he was going to say before he said it, you know?
Oh, so it started sounding reedy.
I guess just because I think just because of the speed. It wasn't so much lack of inflection, but
Okay.
just that it came out a little faster than what somebody who's still putting the thoughts together in their head maybe wouldn't shotgun it out quite so quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? I think definitely a little bit fast on the Admiral. I felt like it was missing that weight behind it. Just kind of like letting that solemnness really kind of resonate with what just happened. You push the button and 1 billion people died. I felt like there was a lot more of the sort of righteousness, like that you were really behind what the king was telling you to do. And I know that's sort of playing it like, you have to be in order to be okay, but it felt like you were more of a believer than this character probably actually is. So if that sort of makes sense. So I just say maybe slow it down, let the weight of what you've truly done really hit, and kind of just take that space. And then yes, similarly with the first officer, I felt like that was very like kind of chipper. My lord, how? Like this is like what? Like it felt like anime game NPC, where it should feel a little bit maybe more cinematic, if that makes sense. It just the whole scene felt like it was missing that solemnness.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the term that people use? You should sound like you could be pushed over by a feather, or pushed over with a feather, like you're barely hanging on, almost breathless. Anybody else? Anything else? Once?
I'm
twice?
actually a little confused on that because I'm hearing mixed critiques for the first officer. On the one hand, and at first said, well, he's too tentative, and now you're directing to be more so.
So I'm not directing him to be tentative. I'm directing him to be more in shock. There's a difference between being able to be pushed over by a feather, like that breathless sort of, almost defeated feel, and a lack of confidence. Because you could know that that you can absolutely be in the same room as somebody who's seemingly really high rank, but you can also be experiencing the same kind of disbelief that they are, or you could be experiencing a strong amount of disbelief at the same time. So I'm not asking Tony to have less confidence in his read. I'm asking Tony um, to have more emotional weight, to be more mindful of the gloom that has just set over the scene. Does that clarify it? Does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah, I can give it a shot.
All right. Whenever you guys are ready, go for it.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1 billion lives.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely, among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocent lives are we?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken, his will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There's no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Balm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think about what I have done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agarheim. No mothers, no children, no people, only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
All right, opening it up. What did y'all think?
Well, I got a
Okay.
lot more confidence out of the first officer that time.
Yeah, no,
That
that
felt
was
a lot better.
Tommy. That was a massive improvement to your performance. One thing that I found really interesting about the way you two took that scene is it almost seems to be written and directed towards the admiral being the one who is feeling this horrible regret and needs to communicate that more. I still feel like that really should be the case, that the admiral really needs to be presenting a lot more regret for what happened. And that actually, Leonard, I believe you missed the mark on that, particularly on that very last admiral line. But I it was really interesting the way you two presented it, because it almost seemed like the first officer was more of the symbol of regret in this scene versus the admiral. I think it worked. Just in general, I think it really worked in that sense. But I still think that you could have communicated a lot more of that personal guilt and regret in that last admiral line, Leonard. Opening it up.
I definitely agree with the previous notes that it is an improvement over the last read, but it's still, I don't know. There's something there that I'm still struggling to try to put my fingers on, or put my finger on that there's a gravity that's missing, is the best way that I can describe it. There's a gravity in what the admiral is saying, because I mean, throughout the analysis of it, this feels like the admiral is trying to convince himself as much as the first officer that this is something that needed to be done, but God, I didn't want to do it to that many people.
Okay. Another take?
Anything else? Anyone else? Okay, go for it.
My lord admiral. Permission to speak freely, sir. My lord. Forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1,000,000,000 lives.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely innocent lives will...
Sorry, glitched out there.
I'll go again. But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocent lives...
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken, his will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There's no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I'd have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, And were I to think about what I have done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people, only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Opening it up. I am going to agree with moderator here that I think that was probably the best take. Anybody else? Agree, disagree, anything? Any feedback?
That was
That was a really good take. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Cool. Flip it.
Thank you.
Flip it.
Okay.
Pop it.
Whenever you two are ready, go for it.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My Lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? A billion lives?
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites' first officer Palm, one which is beyond most of any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Ackerheim, no mothers, no children, no people, only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, opening it up. Let's get some feedback going. What did you all think?
it was a wee bit aggressive on the no mothers, no children, no people. Like a little bit aggressive, but yeah, it's a personal thing.
No, I agree with that. Tommy, why do you think the Admiral is saying that? No mothers, no children, no people, only traitors. Why is the Admiral saying those lines specifically?
To me, it's kind of like he's trying to convince himself
Yeah.
that this genocide is something we have to do, ought to do.
Yeah.
And it comes out that way. Mm-hmm.
So you delivered it very aggressively, as though you were trying to convince Falm.
Mm.
when I think a better way to take that scene and to bring down that over aggression would be to try and convince yourself. No mothers, no people, no children, no people. You know, you're talking to you. You're again, that whole last section is the admiral admitting his personal guilt and the horrors that he's going to face when he's on his own. Of course, I just unintentionally muted myself. Horrors on his own, not in front of anybody else, and not when he has to hold up that military decorum. He is fully and freely admitting the absolute terror and the abject pain that he's going to be experiencing very, very soon, if not already. So this is a very intimate, personal, internalized communication. It's not like he's saying this as much to himself as he is to Falm.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of kind of thinking about that last paragraph is like almost not even think of First Officer Falm. He's not even really there. He's the admiral's just mostly talking to himself. And if you read it like that, that's almost how it needs to come across. Because you wouldn't really shout at yourself, "No mothers!" Like you wouldn't do that. It's this sort of internalized, battle over what just happened, and you're just trying to justify it in some way, shape, or form in your mind so that you don't just break entirely as a person. And so at the end of that, you want to try and think, did you believe that you just went through that? And I didn't believe that. So I think another round of getting this in the words in the mouth, it felt very reedy overall. So just kind of let things breathe and try and just inject a little bit more emotions in that range throughout the piece here. I think it'll help.
All right, Tommy. Go ahead, give us one more read of just the last Admiral line, and then we'll have to move on for time's sake.
Okay.
Just warning everybody, it's going to be a late one. Sorry, it's my fault.
My friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim, no mothers, no children, no people, only traitors, vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Okay. Tommy, have you been taking or have you taken acting classes before?
So I took your advice and have been taking some one-on-ones, but very few as of now. They're pretty expensive, so I'm trying to spread them out as much as possible and do my own kind of solo practice.
Okay. Well, considering that when you first started, your first public read was with us here,
Yes.
that was really well improved. Like I'm glad that you're taking it seriously and that you're getting one-on-one coaching, because I notice a difference. It is a slight difference, but it is a definite difference, and the consistent practice is going to really pay off for you, as it already is. So keep up the good work. This one, definitely much more improved. And again, I don't want to belabor the point too much, but you're definitely showing improvement through what you're doing. So keep that going.
Thank you.
All right. Moving right along here to Justin and James. Justin, we are really going to be hammering your reads this time.
Why is that?
Because now it's an official read for you.
But wait, am I? So I help B for Admiral. Am I going back to Admiral or am I back to First Officer?
You are going to be the first officer on this one. James is
Okay.
going to be the admiral.
All right. My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1,000,000,000 lives were.
If you only knew the treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocent lives?
Silence. Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set out to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I had done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, no, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, yes, my lord.
Okay. Opening it up. What did you all think?
Just want to say before going that James made a very good read for it being its first directed one. Really nice job.
Thank you.
I feel like James was starting to settle into the role and the mindset of the character closer towards the end of the read compared to the beginning, because the beginning was honestly, it was giving commercial with a hint of military, but by the end of it, it was, oh God, what have I done? So if we can find that and start with it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear a little more intense anger there at the early part of the Admiral read.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
What do you mean by presence?
Take command of the scene.
Here, let's try this. James, you seem to have a really good grasp of specifically how you want to play this character because your starting read was really good. It was really clear and easy to follow. Now what I want you to do, just to change up the way that you approach this scene is I want you to use more of your body language. So start by taking more of a commanding presence. Make sure to actively straighten your back. Hold your hands like, behind you or crossed, or fold your arms, something. Like, use your body to communicate the idea that you are in control, that whoever you're around needs to listen to you, and then let that slip and slouch and feel the weight of what you did. So use more of your body positioning to create that difference.
Okay.
Whenever you two are ready.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1,000,000,000 lives.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set out is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I've wrought here, that were I to think about what I've done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, no, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
All right. Opening it up. What about that one? Well, Leonard doesn't have anything negative to say, so I'm assuming that means that you had more presence that time, James. I also saw the physical deflation at that point, which was exactly what I think pushed the read into that really, really believable, really good territory. Not that your previous one wasn't, but this one just had that extra little bit to it that really helped it out. So incorporating your body was just the last little bit that you needed. It was really, really great after that.
Thank you.
And Justin, even though you didn't have that many lines, you still kept it to the general feel that the character was supposed to have. Which is why I don't think anybody really had much to say, because it was solid. It was just a good performance right off the bat.
Cool, thank you.
No problem. All right, so Justin, you had some practice with the Admiral before. Would you like to do it again?
You mean us to replace Mateo?
No, we got to switch now.
No, it's for you two to swap parts.
Oh, I thought we okay.
No, we can't let James off that easy. We can't leave you off that easy. Come on.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
I mean, if you
I-
don't want to, we do have a couple people who did jump in. We could have Andrew take over for you if you'd like.
No, it's fine. For some reason, I thought we didn't flip it.
No, we flip it with every
Yeah.
partner. We flip it.
Okay, yeah.
There's always
Okay,
flipping.
This
We
is
be flipping
Mike
here
Check,
on
not
the mic check.
529 Club, Justin.
flipping mad.
Yeah, this ain't no 529 club. By the way, they're a good practice. If you want an extra place to practice on Wednesdays, the 529 club is pretty decent.
Yeah, they're great.
You'll find Justin and Andrew there semi-regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay, if it's really throwing you off that bad, we can sub you out. It's no problem.
No, let's do it.
Okay, then whenever
Good.
you're ready, go for it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. My Lord Admiral, permission to freak. My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1 billion lives, gone with the mere push of a button.
You only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Fahm. One which is beyond most any man's comprehension. Then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands. How many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. My friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Fahm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agraheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors, who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
All right, feedback time. What did you all think? Okay, I'll
There are
start.
a couple notes.
Oh, okay, go for it.
For Justin, the Admiral, the first lines there, if you only knew full treachery, I'd kind of like you to take the tone of an irate parent lecturing a 5-year-old.
Okay.
And on the silence, I want to really feel you hurling a mental bolt on that line.
Okay.
I think to piggyback off of what Leonard said, though, is that I feel like that silence isn't just getting the first officer to stop talking, but is also trying to get that first officer to stop talking about the very thing that's messing with the Admiral's head.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and in my copy of it, I changed that exclamation point to a period. Because on my cold read, I did it more of an anger, and it didn't feel right after the discussion for me.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, then do you think the entire thing needs to be redone or just the problem sections? Because I think just the problem sections need to be redone. So I would say start at "but sir, traitors all of them" through to the end.
Right, but Leonard
Yeah,
wanted me to do the line before also. More.
My mistake then. Then go ahead and just take it from the top.
Okay.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1 billion lives.
If you
Gone.
only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors? All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents have
Silence!
lost?
Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. My friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Argerheim, no mothers, no children, no people, only traitors, vile, cunning traitors, who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. And how was that one?
There was definitely more gravity here.
I think the emotional spaces made more sense this time around. Leonard, what did you feel?
the emotional spaces were better. I'm not really feeling a command presence from the Admiral. Like
Okay.
on things like, do you understand? I mean, it sounds more like he's asking for permission than saying, this is the way it is. You realize this, right?
Okay. So would that be the big difference that you, or would that be the main thing you'd want to hear differently? If we were to do another one, because we do need to move on. But were we to do another one, that would be the main difference you'd want to hear?
Yeah, I'd just be looking for more of a feel like, okay, this is the Admiral talking, this is the boss talking, and not. It came across a little as near equals to me.
Okay. Well, where would be the best? So where would be the main place you'd want to hear that? Because I do want to hear the difference there, but I don't want to force another full read because I don't know if that's really necessary.
Just the last paragraph then?
Well, the last paragraph is the one that's mostly okay,
But just not the
except for like the very end of it.
yeah.
Okay, so then vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. The last two sentences. How about we do that? And then
Yeah.
on the last line, the very last line, that question, do you understand this, Justin? Be direct about it.
Yeah, okay. Just starting from only traitors.
Mm-hmm. Whenever you're ready.
Only traitors, vile, cunning traitors, who deserve no less than the full brunt of our. All right. Only traitors, vile, cunning traitors, who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Well, Leonard?
Well, I did get the do you understand definitely came across as a little more of a command and a little less of a question. So, I guess.
Alrighty then. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and move on for now, because again, this is going to be a longer one. So it looks
Understand the
like.
words that are coming out of my mouth.
Do you understand this? All right. We did have a few people leaving and whatnot, so somebody is going to have to pair up with Roddy towards the end here. But for now, it looks like my new partner is going to be Brennan.
Oh, hi.
Good to finally have you on, Brennan.
Testing. Am I coming through fine?
You're coming through great.
All right.
All right. So the way that we had it before was you were going to play the first officer, and I'm going to play the admiral.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me. But how? What gives us the right? 1 billion lives.
If only you knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them? Surely, among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down on what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I've done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agarheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors, vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Opening it up.
Maybe a little too aggressive.
Did everybody hear that from the background?
Too aggressive, was it?
Too aggressive?
Yes.
I
Okay.
loved what you did, Michael. And I thought it was great. For Brennan, I would say slow down a little bit.
Yep.
Especially in the first couple lines there. As you got into it later, it was better, but it was a little too fast, and I'd like to hear a little more incredulity or shock in there.
Okay.
I have to agree about the too aggressive part, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I can see where that aggression would be would work, because that could be like the admiral kind of lashing out while trying to mask how he's how he's feeling. I don't know though. With that many deaths, I still feel like there'd be like a grim blankness that lashes out at specific points. Does that make sense? Or am I being a little too
I think I know what you mean. I just would like to know what you want me to replace that aggressiveness with. Because I've got it twice that I'm a bit too aggressive. What would make more sense there?
A depressed awe.
Depressed awe. Okay. Okay. I can give that a go. Anybody else? Okay. From the top.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me. But how? What gives us the right? 1,000,000,000 lives.
If only you knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them. Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents?
Silence. Speak of this no more. Our king has spoken, his will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Fall, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down on what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people, only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Was that the right replacement for the emotional space? What did you guys think?
I actually like the more aggressive take, but everybody else seems to like this one, so be it.
Marcus, what say you?
There is something in the description here that right after the first officer's first line, the admiral nodded acquiescence, stomach sinking as they guessed at the first officer's question. So in a way, the admiral already knows what the first officer is about to ask, but also is that silence is, I'm already beating the hell out of myself about this. Don't remind me of what kind of monster I've just become. Like that. So I feel like if there were a point for like aggression, it's right there. That silence of telling the first officer to shut up, but also telling all of these self-damning thoughts to shut up at the same time, and trying to regain control of himself, because it also specifically says that he doesn't even look at him to actually say it, because looking at him would try almost make what he just did real, and he's still trying to process the gravity of it.
Okay. So then was so then I did need to have some aggression there. Just I still misplaced it. Is that what I'm getting?
That's how I'd been interpreting it, and that's where it felt like, because the rest of it still had that depressed awe that I had mentioned previously, but that just that one specific little bit of like everything coming out at once and then backing off because, oh shit, I said that to somebody I actually care about, but
Okay.
also still trying to come to grips with reality. I realize that this is a very wandering bit of critique, but I also know that you are experienced enough to handle minutiae.
Okay. So then, do you want me to just retake that first admiral line with a little bit more aggression coming off the silence? Is that what I'm getting?
That's what I was thinking, but if anyone else would like to chime in.
Agree,
For
disagree?
me, for me, the admiral delivery overall was more choppy the second time around. I don't know if that's just me.
Okay. So do I need to give a full take? Do we need to give a full take? Do we just need to do a couple lines? Like what? I'm reaching here. Come on.
I would probably say like the first officers, but sir, traitors, all of them leading into the silence.
So it wasn't the like, if you only knew the full treachery, it's him snapping back already.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
I
So
don't
starting
know,
from
so where are we starting from if we only knew the
the
full treachery?
silence, I believe, or but sir. Is it a but sir?
I mean, if y'all are asking me, then I would say then start from, you would speak of our right to annihilate them, and then go from there, just to try to establish that trying to keep calm. Oh God, don't make me think about how many people I just killed.
Okay, so the full treachery of the Agorites down.
Yeah.
Okay. If only you knew the full treachery of the Agorites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them. Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse. Only duty. Was that it? Keep going, or did that fit? I need to know. I must know. I'm getting claps from the background over here.
In the background.
Yeah,
Gonna
it's
say,
off in
what-
that
what-
direction.
What,
The
what
direction
she's saying
Sheol.
in the background. What she's saying in the background.
Write the check or sign the check.
Okay, cool. Well, as
My
long as
one,
it's good.
my one little nit there is you
No,
had.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry, there is no room, and I'd go there is no room, but
Okay.
it's good.
I'm sure I delivered that once before, at least. We'll go ahead and move it along. We'll swap it.
No.
All right, Brennan,
Yeah.
are you ready to be the admiral?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do this.
Sigh.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely. My Lord, forgive me. But how? What gives us the right? 1 billion lives.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors. All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands. Surely among the hundreds of thousands. How many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Nagarheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord. Okay, opening it up. Feedback time.
I definitely want to hear a second read because you ran in, Brennan, you kind of ran into a similar thing that James ran into earlier of it sounded kind of reedy at the beginning. And then as you got into the character, you started emoting more.
Yep.
But that's part of why I usually wait for a second read.
I'll agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should we just dive on in?
Yeah. For Michael, just a quick little wish list for me on the
Okay.
but how. If you can get your voice to crack on the how, I think that would really make it shine.
Okay. All right. Well, wish list item. I'll see if I can hit that. Anything else? Challenges. I love it. No? Nothing? Okay, cool. Let's do it from the top. My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, Forgive me. But how? What gives us the right? 1,000,000,000 lives.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Fallen, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors. All of them? Surely among the hundreds of thousands. How many innocents?
Silence. Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Fallen, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Fallen, it must be that there are no innocents in Agarheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord. Opening it
There
up.
we go. Though you did kind of get sniped a little bit by your noise gate. No, Brennan. Towards the I moved my mic further away so I could type on something. Towards the end of it, as you were getting more and more into it, points for using your body, because I saw you go from this to kind of this towards the end of that paragraph as the weight of it was starting to settle on you. But as that weight settled on you, your volume started to dip and your noise gate started to gate. Like, it wasn't completely shut. You weren't muted, but there was definitely like an effect like that happening
Okay.
every little bit towards the end.
Gotcha.
As far as the actual read, that was yeah.
That was pretty solid overall from you, Brennan. Pretty solid.
It's okay. It's okay.
There is a certain military precision in how you were delivering a lot of that copy that did waver a little towards the end, as well the character was starting to break a little bit.
Okay. Well, if everybody's happy, then let's go ahead and move it right along then, shall we? Well, Marcus, I know you volunteered to read with Roddy. I do want to check though. Michael, you joined us. Would you like to jump in on this?
Sure, yeah, I could do it. Why not? I was just, yeah.
Or did you just want to jump in so you could make comments?
No. I've just been enjoying the show, man. I'm a spectator. No, but
Well,
I'm
now
happy
you're gonna be
to
part
dive
of
in.
it.
Oh no. No.
Well, it's okay. We'll start you off with the easy one.
Thanks.
Mike, you're going to be the first officer, while Roddy, you are
That's
going to be the admiral.
Yeah. All right.
All right, whenever you guys are ready, go for it.
Okay. My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? A billion lives have been lost.
Only you knew the full treachery of the Agranites. First, if only you knew the full treachery of the Agranites, First Officer Fawn, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them. Surely among the hundreds of thousands. How many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. Yes, the task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Fong, my friend, I would have you understand. I know as I look down at what I've wrought here that I know as what I know now as I look down at what I've wrought here that I were to think upon what I've done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agram. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Roddy, are you feeling nervous?
Not really.
Okay.
I just probably should have spent more time actually reading the lines. I was trying to flow like I already knew them by heart when I did not.
Okay.
So that might be.
That's a violation of the Dan rule, but okay.
How dare you?
1,
do them squats,
3,
boy.
4,
Yeah.
5. We'll call it a 5. For the sake of time.
Feel the burn. Feel the burn.
Okay. So, yes. Take more time to make sure you know exactly where you're going because it's Agarites and Agerheim.
Agerheim. Okay.
Yes, Agarites and Agerheim. Other than that, and the choppiness of it around as you performed it, the seemingly or the what sounded like nerves coming up, there did seem to be a section, I forget which one it was. I think it was at if only you knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, that particular section up there. You did add in a little bit of a laugh, and I know you tend to do that.
I didn't even hear it.
So, oh yeah, I can hear it. Absolutely, I can hear it.
No, I was like, I didn't even hear it.
Oh, well, I certainly did. I'm willing to be disagreed by anybody out there if they heard otherwise, but I'm pretty sure that's where it was.
Okay.
But the other thing is you did start really like going back into that zealotry at the end there, with the Admiral's lines, and it, in my opinion, detracted from your from the regret, from that sound that we're trying to go for.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and open it up to see if anybody has any other thoughts or opinions.
I'd like to hear a smoothening between the emotional range of the silence part, because when you went with the silence part, it sounded like you were a villain, and then when it got to the emotional part, you went really into it, like sad, and it felt like two different characters at that point to me.
Guess I'm going the line after that, or
The
like
paragraph
immediately
after
after? Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I guess I'm going to have to third that commentary about the silence. It was the silence. Not gonna lie, it was giving anime villain a little bit, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I would say to just take to heart some of the critiques and commentary from earlier. That, well, I mean, just the critiques and commentary from earlier. I don't remember all of it. But that there is definitely, you want I would say go for definitely have like a like I mentioned for Brennan, like a military precision to the speech, if that makes sense. Like, it almost sounded really casual, and this is somebody who's trying to keep his composure together. And maybe that's just me and my own personal interpretation, but if I'm like on the verge of just completely losing my mind, I get really sharp on how I speak, because if I speak wrong, I will break and immediately start weeping.
So a bit tighter is what you're suggesting, or on the
That's
silence?
That's how I interpret, like, whenever I'm like that close to breaking, that I'm specifically speaking like that to avoid breaking. And it seems like this character is also trying to avoid breaking. So what your interpretation of that is what I would say bring to the character, that you're trying your best not to completely lose your composure in the face of something that would make any lesser man fold.
Okay.
And one note from Mike on this one, just to kind of add to the weight of the scenario. Tap into your inner Carl Sagan when you say billion. Like, give that more space.
Sure. Got it.
All right, whenever you guys are ready, from the top.
Before we do, Agarites and Agaheim.
Agarheim.
Agarheim.
Agarites, Agarheim.
Agarites. Agarheim.
Yep.
Okay.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir. My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? A billion lives?
If only you knew the full if only you knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm. One which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of the right to annihilate them? We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them, surely among the hundreds of thousands. How many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. Yes, the task set for us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Fawn, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I've wrought here, that were I to think upon what I've done, what I've truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Foam, it must be that there are no innocents of Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Much, much more improved that time. Very, very solid. Very solid.
Yeesh.
You picked it up even after the retake, which is really, really good. So I'm happy with it. Gonna go ahead and open it up. Shower your praise.
I have like any nits I have to pick are like minor ones that were just minor tweaks, like saying, where is it? No innocence in Agerheim, not of Agerheim. But like, if I'm grasping at nits to pick, that was overall a really good read.
Yeah, huge improvement.
And Michael, that was also an improvement over as the first officer. I will say though that the beginning sounded almost friendly though. But that's other than that, it was solid. Like after the first, hang on, right after, right around when you got to speak freely, it went from friendly to kind of realizing everything.
I
Gotcha.
can kind of see that, but to me it came off more stunned, more like trying to grasp the situation, and almost a little bit of desperation on that front.
It was very much walking that line.
It really was, and I kind of feel like that's really up to interpretation of how you're going to take that. But I don't know. I didn't hear friendliness. I heard just sort of desperation and trying to grasp the situation as a whole. So that's okay, Mike. That was a very, very good delivery because we have some serious disagreement on this. That
I'm
means
not
that
allowed to say
that you-
anything, so I can't tell you the secret sauce, you know?
No, please share with me your secrets.
No
I must
sauce.
know.
No
From
Get
one mic
used to
to another.
disappointment.
You.
From one mic to another. Come on, come on.
Maybe later.
We
private
share a
mic
first
chat.
name. Come on, man.
Yes, we can do it in a private chat. Mics only.
The mic only mic check.
Yeah.
That would be so confusing. There's doing a mic check where I only
Mike-
allow people
Mike-
named Mike in. So
Yes.
whenever we're giving feedback, Mike, I really liked what you did, but Mike, you really have to. You know?
Mike
Mic check
1, Mike
featuring
2,
only
Mike
mics.
3.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have the only
Mike
real
M,
Mike check.
Mike B.
It's just Mike check.
Yeah.
Anyways, swap it. You two are now the other people in the scene.
Okay.
Blow us away whenever you're ready.
Dude, that's gotta be like an April Fool's thing or something. All right. My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir? My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? A million lives?
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them? Surely, amongst the hundreds of thousands, how many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse, only duty. Falm, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm and destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people, only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, opening it up. What did you all think?
Michael, that was my favorite Admiral last paragraph of the whole night. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I'm gonna have to step up my game.
That it felt like at the beginning you needed to find it, but once you found it, good God.
One critique that I have, though, Mike, is you couldn't seem to decide whether or not you wanted it to be an accented read or not.
I can't.
I mean, that stuck out to me.
I hear.
Then again, with you, I have to go with the nits. I have to find whatever small nits I can pick, because in general, your performance ability is really, really solid. I feel that for this one, though, you flip flop between the two of them enough for it to be a little bit jarring for me. Because while it was really easy to follow along with a lot of what you were doing, that right there was enough to indicate how much of a performance that was. If that makes sense. If it was a dead giveaway that I was listening to performance. So that would be something that I really need you to either commit to, not either, that I really need you to commit to one way or another. Are you accented or not? One or the other.
Got you.
Roddy, way too aggressive. You're attacking these lines way too hardcore. This is a person who is trying to come to terms with what was going on, and while I understand that there is there's an argument to be made about really being expressive in your emotions when you get to that point, I think for this needs to just have a lot of like disbelief, a lot of somberness, a lot of trying to come to grips with what's going on. So I'd like for you to tone down some of that over aggression and turn it into more just disbelief, just being lost and not quite sure of what's happening.
I was actually okay with what Roddy did, but there's certainly room to do it differently too.
Okay. I have an image to give you, Roddy. And this is going to sound really obscure, but it's going to come back to make a really good point. A while, every now and again, videos will kind of prop up of like nuclear testing, like setting off bombs to test how they would react to things or how things would react to them. Have you ever seen any of those before? A few. So have you noticed that like when it happens, at first that blast knocks all but the strongest bits of what's there off of it, and it is just barely a shell of what it was. Still somewhat recognizable, but still a shell, a husk, a skeleton. The gravity of what was just done was that blast, and you have next to nothing but just enough to question why. Does that make sense? Am I getting a little too esoteric?
No, got it. Just straight up awe and disbelief.
Like not deadpan. There is still emotion there. Like I said, with that same analogy, there is still something there. There are still recognizable emotions there, but everything else has been blown away so hard that it's just a little.
Yeah, totally agree. So I would say actually the funny thing is I think this is one of the few reads that we've had where the ending is the most solid part, and I really don't think we really need to retake the last of it. You know, I mean, both performances at the end were really great. So why don't we go ahead and take it from the top to Silence, Speak of It No More.
My Lord Admiral. Permission to speak freely, sir?
Mm-hmm.
My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1,000,000,000 lives?
If you only knew the full treachery of the Agarites, First Officer Falm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. Ha! We've no right to let them live.
But, sir, traitors, all of them? Surely amongst the hundreds of thousands, but how many innocents?
Silence! Speak of it no more.
Okay, opening it up. What did you all think?
Mike told us to stop.
Get out of my head. I was thinking the exact same thing. We're clearly sharing the same brain cell tonight.
I did what I'm told. I'm a little monkey. I do what I'm told.
You both did. You both did what you were told. You stopped right when you were supposed to. That's what we're giving them feedback on. What did you all think? First off, okay. First of all, again, the ending of this read from before was fantastic, and I don't think it needed to be redone. I think retreading that would just be even more time that we would add on that we don't need to because it's good. It didn't need that. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. She's very disappointed about the reads. That means that you guys did a fantastic job, and I'm going to agree with her. It was much easier to get into and follow along this time. It had that involvement in the scene that we were looking for, particularly when it comes to character acting. And all in all, it was an absolutely solid performance. So I'm really happy with it. I'm good to call it there, but I'm gonna open it up. What did everybody else think?
Roddy, you took that note and went like miles with it. Like I have no notes on that. That delivery called to mind the exact image that I was thinking of. Just shell shocked. That's what the word I was looking for.
I think from my point of view, specifically for Michael, is that I mean, with the character you're going for, I mean, it's like fantastic, solid read. But I would think like for a challenge for you, it'd be like instead of code. I mean, the way I hear it right now is it's coded as a villain. I'd rather have it as a hero instead of a villain. That's all.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
It is very Empire.
It's a very interesting piece of direction because I hope I'm not breaking any rules, but I think we're free to discuss it because I think the character can be appreciated in two ways, right? You can have a hero doing bad things, or you could have someone who's actually pretty villainous but thinks they're not the bad guy. Like, really, the kind of person that would execute the order, you could imagine them being two kinds of people. That a really righteous person would be like, no way I'm annihilating an entire planet just for one objective. But then, a less righteous and more mindless kind of, a duty-bound villain type guy would just be like, of course I did it, and I have to do it. But they're humanized by the fact that they understand that they are real people. So it's not that they're totally, sociopathic.
So, I
Missed the
see where
discussion part, so you'll have to forgive me.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I see where you're coming from on that. One main argument I would have towards going away from a supervillain doing something and believing that they're not evil in this particular script is because it is called horrible regret, and you are actively and that would actively show no regret or little regret.
So I think it's compatible with regret, personally. I think it's compatible, even though you believe you did a bad thing for good reasons. You can still regret the means you used to accomplish what would otherwise be a good goal. That's my personal take on that. I totally understand. Like, you don't want to be, like you said, like a caricature, like somebody who's like, of course I did it. I would do it again.
Yeah, I would say that while that is not a bad character performance whatsoever that you gave, and I'm not going to speak bad about the choices that you made in that front. I would say that to fit more with the theme of what we were going for, it was less compatible than your previous read, which showed more of your personal anguish over the situation.
Gotcha. I hear you 100%.
So that's me. That's it. But again, ultimately, I'm not the one who's casting for this, so that would be in the ears of whoever's doing so. That being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this extra long mic check up. Yeah. No, let me English here really quick. We're gonna wrap this up. This was an extra long mic check. Thank you all so much for being here, and we'll see you next week. Also, you know where all the stuff is down below. Please hit bells, buttons, and whistles, and join us next time. Have some fun here with us. All right. Take it easy, everybody. We're going to call it here.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.